Sky King. Just think, gang, every time you pick up a newspaper, you see an article about an automobile accident. Day after day, week after week, year after year, it's the same old story. People are killed because people are careless. And you know, a great percentage of these accidents are caused by fellows and girls on foot. They run out in the street without first looking both ways. The motorist tries to avoid hitting them, and an accident happens. Just think, it only takes a second to stop and make sure there are no cars coming, and that second may save your life and the lives of the people inside the car. Don't you be one of those foolish people who leap before they look. Every time you cross the street, stop for just a second and look both ways before you step off that curb. It'll always be a second well spent. That single second will add years to your life. Don't be careless. Remember this little jingle. All the time, everywhere, be cautious. Take care. Now, The Adventures of Sky King.
Yes, sir, Mr. Miller. She says to me, now, you go and get Benny Miller. Nobody else now, she says. But you be sure to get Benny.
Yeah.
And then she give me $2. She must like you, huh?
I like you too, Benny. I'm crazy about you.
You again.
Yeah, me again, Benny. And this time you're going for a little ride with me.
That happened only a few seconds ago, when Sky King, Penny, and Jim Bell went to the gambling joint known as the Four Deuces to look for Benny Miller. Benny, remember, was one of the thugs who held up Sky, forced him into an automobile, and took him for a ride into the country. And there, with a very pointed warning to lay off trying to find out who stole the pearl necklace from George Snodgrass, they let him go. But Sky, playing a hunch that Benny knew who the real thief was, wanted to have another talk with him. So, disguised as a cab driver, Jim Bell went into the Four Deuces, where by talking about a mysterious lady who wanted to see him, he succeeded in getting Benny to walk outside into a trap. Right now, it's a little while later, and our friends with Benny Miller are in the sheriff's office. Benny is not at all subdued. As a matter of fact, at the moment, he is quite angry.
Smart guys, ain't you? A couple of smart guys.
Yeah, we're smart, Benny. Now let's see how smart you are, shall we?
Ain't you going to wait for the sheriff, Sky?
He'll be along pretty soon, Jim. And he asked me to see what I could get out of Mr. Miller.
You're wasting your time, King.
We'll see. Shall I go along with the intelligence test, Benny?
Sure, go ahead. Maybe you'd like me to tell you my life story, huh?
Some other time, Benny. Not that it wouldn't be interesting, but right now I'd rather you tell me who stole the pearl necklace.
What necklace?
Oh. So you're going to play that way, huh? All right, we'll play that way. It was in the papers, Benny. Surely you can read the papers.
Oh, that necklace.
Yeah, that one. Who stole it?
They got the cook in jail, ain't they? Don't you read the papers?
But Gene McCall didn't take that necklace, Mr. Miller, and we're trying to help him.
Now, ain't that nice?
He's only a boy, Mr. Miller. You don't want to see him go to jail, do you? Not for something he didn't do.
Oh, you're breaking my heart,
Don't
lady.
bother with him, Penny.
Let me bother with him. I know how to make this guy talk.
No, Jim.
But, Sky,
I said no, Jim. Now, let's start all over again, shall we, Benny? Perhaps that first question was a little too hard for you. This time it's an easier one. The $1 question. Who hired you to warn me to lay off investigating this case?
Who? You heard him. Who hired you?
Hold it, Jim. Who was it, Benny? That's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an easy one, King. It's so easy that suppose you guess it.
Why, we're playing questions and answers, Benny, remember? Not guessing games.
Yeah, that's right, we are, ain't we? So I'll tell you, King.
Go ahead.
I was sitting in my car the other afternoon, just sitting there taking it easy, when a guy comes up the street. He walks up to my car and he says, Benny, how'd you like to make yourself a fast buck? Well, you know me, King. So I says to him, why, sure, mister. I'm always ready to make a quick buck. And he says to me...
Never mind the dialogue, Benny. It's a real snappy dialogue, but we can do without it. Who was the guy? What was his name?
Oh, that. You know something, King? It's a funny thing, too, on account I ain't usually that way. But I clean forgot to ask this guy what his name was. Careless of me, wasn't it?
Oh, look, Sky, what do you want to fool around with this bird for? He ain't going to tell us nothing. Not this way, but I know how to make him talk.
No, Jim. We'll play it his way. For a while.
Thanks, King. You're too good to me.
I always try to please. Here's another question, Benny. Another real easy one. You know George Snodgrass, of course.
Do I?
Sure you do, Benny. Don't you remember? I saw you talking to him just a little while ago at the Four Deuces.
That's a lie. I ain't seen Snodgrass in 2 days. I ain't seen him in months.
That's all, Benny. You tripped yourself up. And when you did see him 2 days ago, he hired you to warn me. That's it, isn't it?
No.
But he didn't pay you, did he? And he never will pay you because he doesn't have to. The reason he doesn't have to is because he's got something on you.
He ain't got nothing on me, nothing.
Yes, he has, Benny. He knows you stole those pearls.
That's a lie. I ain't never seen those pearls. Snodgrass stole them himself. He owes $10,000 to Frankie Green for gambling, and that's the only way he can get the dough. That chisel ain't pinning that grab on me. Him or nobody else. And if he tries, I'll blow the whole thing wide open.
You have already, Benny. And thanks a lot.
Huh?
And I'll tell you something. That question and answer game we were playing, it was really a guessing game. I guessed right, didn't I?
Why, you...
Easy, fella. You're all alone here. Your gang of thugs isn't with you. Sheriff! Sheriff!
Nice work, Sky. It turned out even better than we thought. I'm holding you, Benjamin Miller, as a material witness.
You ain't got nothing on me, and I demand to see my lawyer.
You ain't demanding nothing, Benny. Not for a while. And if you don't behave yourself, I'll slap a charge on you of kidnapping. Take him away, Lefty. Give him cell number 1.
Say, what's this all about?
Tell us, Sky, please.
We'll tell you on our way over to the Snodgrass house. You got the warrant, Sheriff?
You bet I have, Sky, and I'm just itching to serve it.
Well, then go ahead.
Come on now, spill it. What are you two guys up to?
It was Sky's idea.
But the sheriff had the dope.
Oh, golly, a mutual admiration society. What was it, Sky, please?
Well, really wasn't much to it, was the sheriff?
No, not much, Sky.
All right, don't tell us. Come on, Jim, let's you and I go out and catch a couple of crooks all by ourselves.
We're going to tell you, honey.
Right now, without any more kidding around?
Without any more kidding
Oh,
around.
then tell.
Well, the sheriff knew that Sonny Miller was a fence.
I know what that is, Sky. It's a receiver of stolen goods.
Well, there you go. Isn't that just like a woman, Sheriff? They beg you to tell them something, and when you begin, they bust right in and start telling you something.
I'm sorry, Sky. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, baby, I'm just having fun. Anyway, the sheriff knew that Benny was a fence. And from a couple of little remarks that were dropped while they had me out riding in their car, I got the idea that somebody had approached Benny and offered to sell him the pearl necklace.
But you didn't know it was Snodgrass, huh?
We didn't have any idea that it was him. But Sky found out that Snodgrass visited the Four Deuces.
Oh, that's why you were trying to find out when you asked that bird at the gambling joint if Mr. Snodgrass was around, huh?
Yeah, Jim. And the man knew him, which proved to me that Snodgrass went there often.
When we knew that much, the rest was just getting Benny to talk.
Yeah, that was easy.
But it was the way you handled it, Sky. By letting him think he was putting it over on you.
But you didn't know that Mr. Snodgrass owed the Four Deuces a lot of money, did you?
No, honey, we didn't.
And you were just bluffing about Benny stealing the pearls, weren't you?
That's all, baby. And it was a pretty weak bluff.
But it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Most of those crooks are like that, you know. If you can just get them off balance. If you can take them by surprise and catch them just one lie, they'll spill their works usually.
Now you're going to arrest Snodgrass, huh?
That's what we're going to do, Jim. That's just what we're going to do. Well, here's his house.
Yeah.
Gee, I feel sorry for his daughter.
Yeah, so do I, Penny. Sorry for Francis, but glad for Jean McCall. Somehow those things kind of even themselves up, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. Oh, you want I should ring the Chevelle, Sheriff?
If you will, Jim.
Gene McCall will get out of jail now, won't he, Sheriff?
Tomorrow morning, Penny. The very first
Oh,
thing.
good.
Ring that bell again, Jim.
Okay.
I guess everybody's asleep.
No, here comes somebody.
What? Why, Sheriff. Has something happened to Gene?
Jean's all right, Francis. Is your dad home?
Oh, he's in bed, Sheriff. It's after 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to bother you, but I want to see your father.
Of course, Sheriff. I'll tell him.
I'll tell him, Franny. You just kindly lead the way, huh?
Is something the matter, Sheriff? Is there you, all these people? What's happened?
Well, maybe you just better take us up to your dad's room, Franny.
Us? What's this all about, Sheriff? Who are these people?
Oh, excuse me, Franny. I kind of forgot. This here is Skylar King.
Hello, Miss Snodgrass.
Sky King? Are you Sky King, the man who's helping Jean? Oh, I'm sorry I was rude. Jean told me all about you. About you and your niece Penny. You're Penny, aren't you? Yeah, I'm Penny. And you'll be Jim Bell.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Jean's talked about all of you. He's told me how perfectly swell you've been to him. Oh, please come in, won't you? But you want to see my father, don't you? Why, Sheriff?
Maybe I'd better tell him, Franny. You just lead the way upstairs.
I don't understand, but please come on. Try not to make too much noise. My mother's asleep and she hasn't been feeling too well. Here's Father's room. He's usually a very light sleeper.
I'll open the door, Franny.
Father? Father? He doesn't answer.
Turn on the light, Franny. Why, this room is empty. Your father's gone, Francis. Do you know where? Answer me. Do you know where?
Keep listening. In just 1 minute, we'll continue with Sky King. You know, a speeding train is an impressive sight, but remember, even watching it can be dangerous. That's right, I said just watching it can be mighty dangerous. Not long ago, an 8-year-old boy was watching a speeding streamliner, but he stood too close to the tracks and the train sucked him in under the wheels. Now just think, if that boy had stood back a few feet, he'd be alive today. It's all right to watch trains, but don't get too close to them. Stay away. Of course, I know you'd never play around trains or tracks. Everyone knows that's just plain foolish. Anyone who would do a thing like that is just begging for a trip to the hospital, or worse. No, sir, the less you have to do with trains, besides going places in them, the better off you'll be. Watch them, but watch them from a distance. Don't take chances. This is Mike Wallace reminding you all the time, everywhere, be cautious. Take care. It's seconds later now. Frances Snodgrass stands without moving. Her eyes frightened, staring at the empty bed.
Answer me, Francis. Do you know where your father went to?
I don't, Sheriff. I don't. You saw him earlier. He said goodnight to me and came upstairs. Oh, what's happened? Please tell me what is.
I have a warrant for your father's arrest, Francis.
Arrest?
For stealing a pearl necklace.
I don't know what to say. I can't think. Come over here and sit down, Francis. I'll try to tell you about it.
Look, Sheriff. Have a look at what I found over here by the telephone.
Why, one of them pink discharge slips.
Yeah, with a bunch of numbers on it.
They're more than just numbers. Have another look at them. Those top ones are arrival and departure time of a train or a plane. And that number there's a telephone number.
Yeah, but Sky, what does that get us?
I think, Jim, that when we check up on those numbers, we're going to know where Snodgrass has gone.
There's excitement and thrills coming up. Listen tomorrow for Leaving at 10:45. That's tomorrow on Sky King. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.